What's up, houseplant friends? This is Sydney and welcome to Peaceful Planting. So I did a poll on Instagram to see what everyone wanted my next video to be about, and watering and soil tips won the race. So I'll be doing that video for you all today. I've done it like 3 times, I think on Friday, and I just wanted to find a different way because it was way too long and I wanted to consolidate everything. So I'm gonna try again. Here it goes. So stick around for some watering and soil tips. I want to start off with, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. If you do not celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a great week anyway. I got some Planty gifts for Christmas, which I'm really excited about. My friend Ashley got me a shirt, like a Planty shirt, and I'll put the link to the Etsy shop below. And my other friend Jess crocheted me this really beautiful plant hanger to put a Tillandsia xerographica in, which I've been dying for that plant, so now I can finally go get it, put it right where it needs to be. I'm so excited. And then my dad got me 2 plant shelves, which means more plants. I'm really excited about that as well. My sister got me a humidifier a couple of months ago because I really needed one, so it was like an early Christmas present. So I have I want to say like the more affordable Levoit humidifier. I'm sure you've seen it somewhere, but I can do a little short video on that if you all want me to. Let me know what you want. I can show you how it works and tell you about why I like it. So anyway, I'm going to get straight to this, but oh, I forgot. If you got Planty things for Christmas, please leave them in the comments below because I really want to know what everyone got for Christmas, if it was Planty or not Planty. Anyway, okay, so now to the soil and watering tips. I'm going to start off with watering. So there are a lot of different factors that are going to tell you how often you need to water your plants. The soil you use, the lighting that you have, the airflow that you have, what type of plant, and the pots that you use. So I'm going to go straight to the pots that I use. I use terracotta pots for almost everything. I know you've seen a terracotta pot, I'm sure. Some people don't like the orangey look of it, but there are ones that are only glazed on the outside, which means that the inside is still going to help you draw out some of the moisture from the soil. That is why I use terracotta pots. So they help the soil dry out more because it absorbs some of that water. So I just love that. I know there's been some debate about if Hoyas should go in terracotta pots or if orchids should go in terracotta pots because their roots kind of like adhere to the sides of the pot, but it doesn't bother me. I know that I can just soak the pot, make the roots a little more flexible so that I can repot it. Let me know in the comments, do you use terracotta for your Hoyas and your orchids? If you do, then great. If not, let me know why, because I haven't had to repot any of mine yet, so we'll see how it goes. But I do use terracotta for almost everything. I would say the exception of when I don't use terracotta, I'll use like a glazed ceramic pot, which you can see right here. The reason that I use the glazed ones for these plants here is because those are in the Marantisiae family. So it's like prayer plants, right? You have your Stromanthe, Calathea, Maranta, and some other ones. So you can either use that for plants that like water more or like to stay a little more moist, or you can use plastic pots. I don't use plastic pots just because I don't really like the look of them, to be honest with you, especially not like next to the terracotta. I don't think it looks that great. But anyway, that's just me. We all have our different styles and different things that we do, but this will help you keep some of the moisture in the soil because it's not going to absorb the water kind of like the terracotta does. So those are your different options as far as that goes. And then another thing about pots is that I have heard some people say that they use pots without drainage holes and they just put rocks at the bottom. I don't do that for any of my plants. If you do and you are doing it successfully, more power to you. I haven't done it. I'm just scared of root rot really. But I did a little example here in a mason jar so that you all can see what happens to the water when you put the rocks at the bottom and it has no drainage hole. So here is the mason jar. I hope you can see. I put soil at the top and some LECA, like the clay pellets at the bottom, because I don't have rocks. But the water is just sitting there at the bottom of this mason jar pot, right? So what's going to happen is this water that's sitting here at the bottom is just going to sit there, harbor bacteria, which is not good. It can lead to like fungus and root rot and other diseases in your plant. So that's really dangerous and scary for me. But anyway, so when the roots grow down into these, like into the rocks, I know it's not rocks in this example, but let's say that was rocks. So the roots are going to grow down into there with this like stagnant water that's going to probably grow algae and just all sorts of gross stuff. So those roots that are sitting in the water at the bottom are going to rot. More than likely, they will rot. So just keep that in mind. You know, there are a few different options. If you have a pot that has no drainage hole, but you're just like dying to use it, I totally understand that. So what I would do as two recommendations for a pot without drainage holes. First one, I have a little drill bit that I got from like Home Depot. You can probably buy them at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, anything. Ace Hardware store, I'm sure you can find them there. And mine was like $6. The drill is originally meant for cement, so I know that it has no problem just like drilling right through terracotta, and it has not broke any of my pots. Like I have ceramic glazed pots that I used the drill for, and it worked great. So I mean, that's definitely an option for you to help prevent against like that stagnant, nasty water at the bottom. And then another option would be to use it as a cache pot or a cache pot. So what that means is that you have your plant in a pot that has drainage holes, like maybe like a nursery pot or something like that, and then you put it in the pot that has no drainage holes. So it looks like it's planted in there, but whenever it comes time for watering, you can just pull that plant out, water it, let the water drain right through, let it drain for a second, and put it right back into that pot with no drainage holes. Boom, bam, done. So that's a great option, and that's what I would recommend. Everybody has their things that they do or don't do, and this is something that I do not do because obviously, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm terrified of root rot. Like, really don't want root rot. I just don't want to deal with it. I feel like your plant really never looks the same if it gets too bad and then all the leaves fall, or it just takes a long time to get back to like that healthy plant that you love. So that's a good way to avoid root rot. Okay, so as far as my soil mix that I use, which is another factor in the watering, is I use like really chunky soil mix. What I do is I have 1/3 bark, 1/3 perlite, and 1/3 soil. So this is super, I know it's kind of hard to show you all, but it's just really chunky and airy. So that helps prevent against root rot and also fungus gnats. Fungus gnats, oh, they're the worst. If you've dealt with them, you know they're like horrible. But they love wet soil. They love moist soil. That's where they want to lay their eggs. They just lay 1,000,000 eggs and then you have a fungus gnat outbreak. It's horrible. So to prevent that and help with the drainage so it can dry out a little quicker, I just use a really chunky, airy mix. Again, another exception to that for me personally is the plants that love water, like the Marin TCA, the prayer plants. They like a little more moisture, so I don't do as chunky of a mix. I probably do like 1/3 perlite and 1/3 soil. So I just use regular soil. I get mine from like Walmart sometimes, so it just doesn't even matter to me. The soil is great, it'll be fine. And then, let me see, so I use this type of bark sometimes. This is the regular orchid bark. I got this from Pike Nursery, and that helps create those air pockets in the soil so it's not compacted and suffocating the roots, because the roots need airflow. Out in nature, there are bugs that like move around the soil. There are other plants growing next to it, moving the soil, so it's getting that airflow. So what that does, they don't have that option in pots in our homes because, you know, obviously we water and it just keeps going down. Nothing's in there like helping move it around unless you aerate your stuff, which I don't. But, so yeah, the bark helps create that those air pockets and that drainage, which you really want the drainage. That's like the key factor in everything, is well draining soil, because you don't want your plants sitting in water. So, so the bark helps with the drainage as well as the perlite. So I don't know if you all use perlite. If you don't, I would recommend giving it a shot. I mean, it's definitely going to help, like the bark, with the drainage, the airflow, create those air pockets. The perlite is puffed volcanic stone, so it doesn't absorb that water, so it helps just kind of be like a little substance in your soil that's just going to help with the drainage and the flow of the water. So perlite is relatively inexpensive, so I would really give it a shot. Like I said, it helps me. So I will move on to LECA. I don't know if you all know what LECA is, but these are basically little clay pellets. That's what I used for the example in my little mason jar here. So LECA, they're clay pellets, and some people will use these in their soil mixes as like an alternative to bark. But the reason why I don't personally do that is because I got a bag about this big from Amazon for like $15-ish, and there wasn't that much in it. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I can't afford to buy a $15 bag of this LECA. Like, it's just not affordable for me. So the bark is what I use. You definitely can use LECA. The benefit to LECA is that it's inorganic, so it's not going to break down over time like the bark is, which means after time, the bark is probably going to condense a lot more, and it's going to compact the soil. So I will probably have to repot my plants like once a year, once every 2 years, which I'm totally fine with. So that is a benefit to LECA, is that it's not going to break down, so you can probably put it in your soil mix and maybe not repot as often. So if that's something you're interested in, then I would give it a shot. It's great stuff. It's just, keep in mind, it's going to be a little more pricey than the bark, which I think cost me like $4. So yeah, just keep that in mind. That's another option as well. And I'm not talking about semi-hydroponics. I'm just talking about using it in your soil mix. Semi-hydroponics is very different, and I don't use that method. So there are tons of planty YouTubers who do. So just, if you are interested in semi-hydroponics, you can give that a search on YouTube, and I'm sure some stuff will pop up. Oh, so this is an example. Oh, this is my Philodendron pedatum. So cute. It has a new leaf. I love this plant. Oh, it's so cute. I think some people call it like the reindeer plant. But anyway, so this is an aroid. It's a philodendron. I love me some philodendron. So I have this plant in that same soil mix, the very chunky, very airy, because it likes to dry out in between waterings, and it likes a lot of airflow because it's like semi-epiphytic, which all the aroids pretty much are for the most part. So, and then that's a different soil for the Marantisiae, the prayer plants. I use a different soil for them. So that's kind of the difference in the soil that I use. So next thing I want to talk to you all about is, instead of soil, some people are using Spagna Moss, which I think is a great option because Sphagnum moss is going to dry out a lot more. Personally, I get this type of Sphagnum moss. So this is the New Zealand Sphagnum moss, and I don't know if you can tell, but the fibers are a lot longer, and like, it's so fluffy. This moss is so fluffy, and it allows for a ton of airflow to your roots, which is great. So, and it dries out a little more, so if you're an overwaterer, this might be a great option for you. If you're keeping your aroids in like chunky mix and you're still finding that your aroids are rotting, or you're having issues with it yellowing, maybe try Sphagnum moss, because it will dry out quicker for you, especially if you have it in terracotta. This is my Anthurium veitchii, and it's in terracotta with Sphagnum moss. and I water this about 2 times a week. So the reason why I have it in Spagna Moss is because, as you can see, this is a little baby veitchii, and the roots aren't really established, right? So they're still growing. I want to give it the medium where it's not rotting these like newer roots, and also allowing for a lot of airflow, because anthuriums love airflow to their roots. So it's working out great for me. This plant is just, it's super cute. I wish it would hurry up and grow, but anyway, I'll be patient with it, whatever. So that is what I have in Sphagnum moss. You can also use Sphagnum moss to propagate because it helps prevent against the stem rot and the root rot. So this is a good option for you if you want to try it out. I'll put a picture on the screen somewhere on the screen of what type of Sphagnum moss this is. And I got this off of Amazon for maybe $8. And it's the New Zealand Sphagnum moss. It was a big bag like this. And I still have like 1/3 of, or 2/3 of the bag. I've only used like 1/3 of the bag. So it really is, it's a lot. You get a lot for how much you pay for it. So that is a great option for you. Okay, so as far as how I water my plants, I'll just briefly go over this. I water all of my plants with this little thing. This is like a squirt spray bottle thing. I just take the sprayer off of it and I use this to water all of my plants. It's probably a lot different because I know a lot of people use like the regular, you know, watering can and things like that, but I just find that this is easier for me to gauge how much water I'm putting in my plant, and it allows for me to get really close to the plant and kind of see how much I'm watering it. So what I do is I have a huge bucket of water that I put Mosquito Bits in, which I'll put a picture somewhere, and then I put Reptisafe, and if I need fertilizer, I'll put that in there too. And I dunk this in there and fill it up and water all my plants that my little moisture meter tells me I need to water. So that's what I do. The Mosquito Bits, I will briefly go over that. That helps. It's like, it has BTI in it, which is just basically something that'll kill the mosquito eggs in your soil. So I use it every single time I water because I really, really hate like little gnats. So the Mosquito Bits work for gnats and they kill the eggs. I also put Reptisafe in there. I have reptiles and they can't drink water that's chlorinated. So I just put the Reptisafe drops in there and it dechlorinates the water. So I thought about it one day and was like, hey, maybe this will help my plants, you know, because a lot of the times our plants don't like the chlorine that's in our water. So if you've been struggling with that, I would really recommend giving Reptisafe a shot because it hasn't proved me wrong at all. So I'll put a picture of that up here too. I think I get mine from PetSmart. I know they have it on Amazon, I'm pretty sure. So it just dechlorinates the water. And then of course I put my fertilizer in there if I need to fertilize, which since it's wintertime, I'm not going to even bother fertilizing right now. I will wait until the warmer months start coming, like spring and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what I use. I know it's a little unconventional, but we all have our things. You know, this works better for me. So anyway, okay, so let me see, what did I not cover? So airflow, I briefly talked about this in another video. Airflow is going to help circulate the air, and what it does is basically helps dry out the soil and also prevent against a lot of diseases that plants can, you know, get, because our plants love airflow. You know, you got to think, we have them in houses with like stagnant air, and they love airflow. They'll grow much better for you. They'll be happier, be healthier. So the airflow is going to help dry out a little more and create, you know, just the airflow to help dry out the pots too. Like if you use terracotta pots, you'll notice that you'll get like mold on the side of your pots, which the airflow will help with that. So that's always good. Nobody wants mold on their pots. So that's the airflow. And as far as lighting, so our plants are basically, the light is their food. So that's what they eat. That's what helps them grow. That's where they get their energy from. So the more light, the more water, more than likely. Except with like cacti, obviously, you know, like I said, do some research on what plant you're getting, because that's really going to help you know how to care for it, and watering is so important with our plants. So yeah, so that is lighting for you. So that's all I really have for you. I hope that was a lot more simple and I could put it in easier terms for y'all to understand. So let me know if you have any questions or advice for me. I would love to hear it. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is peaceful.planting, and I'm doing the polls on there for my next videos. So also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Help me grow this channel, because I can't wait to do a giveaway for you all when I hit 1,000 subscribers. I really want it to be like this big, awesome giveaway. So I would love that. Also, if you really like my content, feel free to hit the notification bell. That helps you get notifications when I do new videos and things like that. So anyway, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!